Hey, Dog Guardian. I know that listening to a podcast tutorial about treating dog reactivity and aggression is difficult for some people. So, if it's difficult for you to gather all of the context you need from just an auditory learning, then I wanted to let you know I do have two other free resources to supplement this episode. The first is that there is a free cheat sheet download linked below. This is for you to read the notes of how to treat your dog's reactivity and aggression in kind of bullet points and synthesized bits. So that link to download that is in the description box of this episode. The second thing that I have is a 50-minute, that is 50-minute YouTube tutorial. It is a deep dive on the step-by-step process to treating a dog's reactivity or aggression through each phase of the recovery journey. That is also linked in the description box of this episode. So make sure you get both of those before you jump into the very next episode. Make sure you download those or access those links. But for now, I want to jump back into this episode. Let's finish that out. Happy learning, and we'll talk to you guys soon. How do I get my dog used to the backyard? I throw a ball and he wants to get inside. We just graduated from our activity class. Next door neighbor's dogs bark. He gets scared. Can you clarify in the comments, Lexi? It sounds to me like your dog is afraid of the backyard itself, or is your dog like reacted to the neighbor dogs? Because those would be two different things, to be honest. And it might be both, but I just need some clarity of like, is the environment itself a trigger as well? Or is it just the dogs that are a trigger? And Lacey says now he doesn't even like being outside in the backyard, even when the dogs aren't there. Other fenced in backyards, he is fine. Ours just got fenced in and now he doesn't even really want to use it. Sometimes what happens is if the dog has been triggered by a certain stimulus, let's say in this case, it's the neighbor's dogs. If a dog has been triggered by a certain stimulus in a certain environment over and over and over again, then the environment itself becomes traumatizing. The environment itself becomes a trigger. And in this case, you actually then need to desensitize both. You need to desensitize the environment without the stimulus, without the dogs there. And you need to desensitize the stimulus, which in this case is the dog. So you have to desensitize both of those things. I recommend starting off with the environment itself, in which case you can't force your dog to be outside wanting to play. You need to start off with something as small as, what are the highly reinforcing things that he enjoys in life? And can you just do those inside with the back door open? But trying to get him outside to play ball when he's adamant, like, Mom, I don't feel safe out here. I want to go in here. If anything, that is more damaging to your relationship. If anything, that could be hurting more. And the reason is because he may feel as though, and this happens over time, this is not something that just like comes once, but over time, if you throwing the ball and him saying, Mom, I want inside, let me inside, let me inside, let me inside, and you're just standing there like, Rover, why won't you play with me? The more that happens, the more he feels like he's not being listened to, like his behavior isn't being understood. And so what will end up happening is he may try alternative behaviors. He may try barking, lunging, whining, crying, biting. He very well could start to aggress towards you simply because he feels like you're not listening to him. And of course, these are all just like possibilities. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen with you and your dog. But I think it's important that we acknowledge that if he is continuously saying, I don't want to be out here, especially by myself, let alone out here with you playing ball, and that's not being listened to, that can have results detriment to your life in the long run. So I would say start off by seeing things that he actually enjoys. If he really does enjoy ball in the house, like maybe he does, then just play inside with the back door open and see how he feels with that, right? That would be the first experiment I would run. Is it okay to feed him out there to get him used to it? I don't know. Only your dog can tell me that. Any professional trainer who answers that question with a yes or no is not educated. I'm going to make it very clear, because only your dog can answer that question. Your dog will tell you whether or not you're poisoning the food, whether or not you're poisoning the environment by making him feel like he's coerced there, or if it's actually kind of conditioning the environment itself. So that's a question for your dog. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dog Liaison podcast. If you did, it would help us tremendously if you subscribed to the show, left a review, and or shared with a friend. You can either post on your Instagram stories, make sure you tag me if you do, or send it directly through an email or a DM straight to a friend, letting them know, hey, this episode really made me think of you. Info on how to work with me and the Dog Liaison team is linked in the description box, or you can go to getacalmdog.com. We look forward to having you in the next episode. Until then, give your dog a treat for me, and we'll talk soon.